In this video, we will discuss Dictionary Section Gst Act 1999. We will explain dictionary words and their meaning. Please note that explained meanings of words explained will only be relevant to GST purposes unless regulations specify any other meanings. Please find disclaimer on screen. If this is your first visit to our channel, we would like to inform you that this video is part of a video series explaining Gst Act 1999. Are you interested in learning more about Gst Act Australia? Please check our playlist on our YouTube channel for this subject. This is video number 11 of GST series. In this video we will discuss Division 195 from Chapter 6 Volume 2 of Gst Act 1999. This section of Gst Act is Dictionary of this Act. GST Dictionary have about 383 words in total on April 11, 2023. Word count is subject to change in future. Please find this section in Volume 2 of Chapter 6 of Gst Act 1999 from pages 210 to 217. There is link in description box. You can access free copies of Gst Act there. We have tried to explain all dictionary words in our playlist of sequence videos. In this video, we will explain dictionary words contained in pages 210 to 217 from Volume 2 of Gst Act. For pages 171 to 209, please check our previous videos. We have explained those pages in previous videos. In this video we will explain from word, reviewable GST decision, to word, U, of GST Dictionary. This is last video for dictionary. For all other GST dictionary words, please check our previous videos. We will discuss this video in following pattern. 1. List of words from Gst Act Volume 2 Division 195. 2. Explanation of listed words and their meaning. 3. A question and answer activity for you. Let's break into. Please find on screen words from Gst Act 1999. We will explain these words on screen in later section of this video. These words are from Division 195 of Gst Act. This division is last division of Gst Act 1999. On screen are the words from pages 210 to 217 of Volume 2. Please check our last video, that is video number 10 of GST video series. We will read the words as we go along. If you can, please pause and read other related information with words, or go to Gst Act to read the information thoroughly. It will be helpful to have open Gst Act Volume 2 Division 195. Not all the meanings are explained in Gst Dictionary. What this means is that other sections of Gst Act explain these meanings. We will try to find most of those sections within Act or outside and try to explain words on screen in later sections of this video. Please find on page number 210. Word number 1. Reviewable GST decision. 2. Satisfies the membership requirements. 3. Satisfies the participation requirements. 4. Scheme. 5. School. 6. Secondary course. Next page. That is page number 211, word number 7. Second-hand goods. 8. Service department. 9. Settlement amount. 10. Share. Next page is page number 212, word number 11. Ship. 12. Ship stores. 13. Simplified accounting method. 14. Small business entity. 15. Small enterprise entity. 16. Small enterprise turnover threshold. 17. Special education course. 18. Special professional. 19. Stated monetary value. 20. State law. 21. Statutory compensation scheme. 22. Stratum unit. 23. Student accommodation. 24. Student Assistance Minister. Next page is page number 213. Word number. 25. Subdivision 38P period. 26. Substantial renovations. 27. Superannuation fund. 28. Supplier taxed offshore supply of low-value goods. 29. Supply. 30. Supply of a going concern. 31. Supply of low-value goods. 32. Taxable at less than 1/11 of the price. 33. Taxable dealing. 34. Taxable importation. 35. Taxable importation of a luxury car. Next page is page number 214. Word number. 36. Taxable supply. 37. Taxation law. 38. Tax invoice. 39. Taxi travel. 40. Tax loss. 41. Tax period. 42. Tax period turnover threshold. 43. Tax-related liability. 44. Telecommunication supply. Next page. Page 215. Word number. 45. Territory law. 46. Tertiary course. 47. Tertiary residential college course. 48. Thing. 49. Third-party adjustment note. 50. Total subdivision 66B credit amount. 51. Total subdivision 66B GST amount. 52. TradeX order. 53. TradeX scheme goods. 54. Transportation document. Next page for this video. Page number 216, word number. 55. TSA contributing member. 56. Turnover threshold. 57. Unit trust. 58. Untaxable Commonwealth entity. 59. Valid meal entertainment register. 60. Valuable metal. 61. Valuable metal threshold. 62. Value. Next page for this video. Page number 217, word number. 63. Varied installment amount. 64. Voucher. 65. Wine. 66. Wine tax. 67. Wine Tax Act. 68. Wine tax law. 69. Withholding payment. 70. Withholding payment. 71. We will explain these 71 words mentioned before from pages 210 to 217 of Volume 2 of Gst Act. We will try to explain mentioned words in this video in best possible manner. We would appreciate your feedback. We will have 3 parts and 8 sections explaining words for this video, 1 section for each page of Gst Dictionary mentioned in this video. Section 1. We will explain these words on screen in section 1 of this video, that is page number 210. You can find these words on page 210 in Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. We will discuss these words from Gst Dictionary. Please find on page. Word number. 1. Reviewable Gst decision. 2. Satisfies the membership requirements. 3. Satisfies the participation requirements. 4. Scheme. 5. School. 6. Secondary course. Firstly, we will look at meaning of word. Reviewable Gst decision has the meaning given by Subdivision 110F in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. Subdivision 110F Review of Gst decisions. Table of sections. 110 to 50 Reviewable Gst decisions. 110 to 50 Reviewable Gst decisions. 1. You may object, in the manner set out in Part IVC, against a decision you are dissatisfied with that is A. A reviewable GST decision relating to you, or B. A reviewable GST transitional decision relating to you. 2. Each of the following decisions is a reviewable GST decision. 1. Refusing to register you subsection 25-5 2. Registering you subsection 25-5 2. 3. Deciding the date of effect of your registration section 2510. 4. Refusing to cancel your registration subsection 25-55 5. Canceling your registration subsection 25-55 2. 6. Refusing to cancel your registration section 25-57. 7. Deciding the date on which the cancellation of your registration takes effect section 25-68. 8. Determining that the tax periods that apply to you are each individual month subsection 27-15 9. Deciding the date of effect of a determination subsection 27-15 2. 10. Refusing to revoke your election under section 2710 subsection 27-22 11. Deciding the date of effect of a revocation subsection 27-22 3. 12. Refusing to revoke a determination under section 2715 subsection 27-25 13. Deciding the date of effect of a revocation subsection 27-25 2. 14. Determining that a specified period is a tax period that applies to you section 27-30. 15. Refusing a request for a determination section 27-37. 16. Revoking a determination under section 27-37 subsection 27-38 17. Deciding the date of a revocation subsection 27-38 2. 18. Refusing to permit you to account on a cash basis subsection 29-45 19. Deciding the date of effect of your permission to account on a cash basis subsection 29-45 2. 20. Revoking your permission to account on a cash basis subsection 29-53 21. Deciding the date of effect of the revocation of your permission to account on a cash basis subsection 29-54 22. Refusing an application for a decision that an event is a fundraising event paragraph 40-165 1c. 23. Approving another day of effect paragraph 48-71 1b. 24. Revoking an approval of a day of effect subsection 48-71 2. 25. Refusing an application for approval section 49-5. 26. Refusing an application for approval or revocation subsection 49-70 1. 27. Revoking an approval under division 49 subsection 49-70 2. 28. Refusing an application for revocation subsection 49-75 1. 29. Revoking the approval of a GST religious group subsection 49-75 2. 30. Deciding the date of effect of any approval, or any revocation of an approval, under division 49 section 49-85. 31. Approving another day of effect paragraph 51-75 1b. 32. Revoking an approval of a day of effect subsection 51-75 2. 33. Refusing an application for registration section 54-5. 34. Deciding the date of effect of registration as a GST branch section 5410. 35. Refusing to cancel the registration of a GST branch subsection 54-75 1. 36. Canceling the registration of a GST branch subsection 54-75-2. 37. Deciding the date of effect of the cancellation of the registration of a GST branch section 54-80. 38. Cancelling the registration of an Australian resident agent subsection 57-25-1. 39. Determining that the tax periods that apply to a resident agent are each individual month subsection 57-35-1. 40. Deciding the date of effect of a determination subsection 57-35-2. 49A. Cancelling the registration of a representative of an incapacitated entity subsection 58-25-1. 41. Deciding to direct a representative of an incapacitated entity to give to the Commissioner a GST return paragraph 58-50-1B. 42. Cancelling the registration of a non-profit subentity subsection 63-35-1. 43. Refusing to allow, or allowing, a further period within which to make an agreement that the margin scheme is to apply paragraph 75-5-1AB. 44. Refusing a request to allow an annual apportionment election to take effect from the start of another tax period paragraph 131-10-2B. 45. Disallowing an annual apportionment election subsection 131-23. 46. Refusing to make requested decision about excess GST subsection 142-15-1. 47. Refusing a request to allow an annual tax period election to take effect from the start of another tax period paragraph 151-10-2B. 48. Refusing a request to be allowed to make an annual tax period election on a specified day subsection 151-23. 49. Disallowing an annual tax period election subsection 151-25-3. 50. Refusing a request to allow an election to pay GST by installments to take effect from the start of another tax period paragraph 162-15-2B. 51. Refusing a request to be allowed to make an election on a specified day subsection 162-25-3. 52. Disallowing an election to pay GST by installments subsection 162-33. 53. Making a declaration to negate or reduce a GST disadvantage subsection 165-45-3. 54. Deciding whether to grant a request for a declaration to negate or reduce a GST disadvantage subsection 165-45-5. 3. A decision under Section 24B of the A New Tax System, Goods and Services Tax Transition Act 1999 refusing an application for a determination under that section, or making a determination under that section, is a reviewable GST transitional decision. Word number 2. Satisfies the membership requirements. A. In relation to a GST group, has the meaning given by Section 48-10, 63-50 or 149-25. Or B. In relation to a GST religious group, has the meaning given by Section 49-10. Next word. Word number 3. Satisfies the participation requirements for a GST joint venture has the meaning given by Section 51-10. That is Section 51-10 of GST Act Volume 1 page number 190. 51-10 states, participation requirements of a GST joint venture. An entity satisfies the participation requirements for a GST joint venture, or a proposed GST joint venture, if the entity A. participates in, or intends to participate in, the joint venture, and B. is a party to a joint venture agreement with all the other entities participating in, or intending to participate in, the joint venture, and C. is registered, and F. Accounts on the same basis as all those other participants. Next word. Word number 4. Scheme has the meaning given by subsection 165-10(2). That is subsection 165-10(2) of Gst Act Volume 2 page number 136. Subsection 165-10(2) states, what is a scheme? A scheme is A. Any arrangement, agreement, understanding, promise or undertaking. I. Whether it is express or implied, and 2. Whether or not it is, or is intended to be, enforceable by legal proceedings, or B. Any scheme, plan, proposal, action, course of action or course of conduct, whether unilateral or otherwise. Gst benefit can arise even if no economic alternative. Next period. Word number 5. School means an institution that supplies preschool courses, primary courses, secondary courses or special education courses, but not any other education course. Next word. Word number 6. Secondary course means A. A course of study or instruction that is a secondary course determined by the Student Assistance Minister under subsection 5D(1) of the Student Assistance Act 1973 for the purposes of that act. Or B. Any other course of study or instruction that the Student Assistance Minister has determined is a secondary course for the purposes of this act. That was it for page number 210. This was first section of this video. Now we will head to section 2. Now we will explain words on page number 211 of Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. This will be section 2 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 7. Second-hand goods. 8. Service department. 9. Settlement amount. 10. Share. Word number 7. Second-hand goods does not include A. Goods, except incidental valuable metal goods, to the extent that they consist of valuable metal, or C. Animals or plants. Next word. Word number 8. Service department. An apartment, however described, is a service department in relation to a retirement village if A. The apartment is designed to be occupied by aged residents who require either or both of the following. I. The services set out in Item 2.1, Daily Living Activities Assistance, of Part 2 of Schedule 1 to the * Quality of Care Principles. 2. The services set out in Item 3.8, Nursing Services, of Part 3 of that schedule, and B. At least one responsible person is continuously I. On call to render emergency assistance to the residents of the apartment, and 2. In reasonable proximity to the apartment, and C. The apartment is part of a single complex of apartments to which paragraphs A and B apply, and is accessible from a common corridor linking the apartment to the other apartments in the complex, and D. There is in the retirement village a communal dining facility that is available for use by the residents of apartments in the retirement village to which paragraphs A, B, and C apply. However, a detached house, row house, terrace house, townhouse or villa unit is not a service department. Next word. Word number 9. Settlement amount has the meaning given by subsection 78-15(4). That is subsection 78-15(4) of Gst Act Volume 1 page number 282. Subsection 78-15(4) states, Settlement amounts. 4. The settlement amount is worked out using this method statement. Method statement. Step 1. Add together A. The sum of the payments of money, or digital currency, if any, made in settlement of the claim, and B. The GST inclusive market value of the supplies, if any, made by the insurer in settlement of the claim, other than supplies that would have been taxable supplies but for Sections 78 to 25. Step 2. If any payments of excess were made to the insurer under the insurance policy in question, subtract from the Step 1 amount the sum of all those payments, except to the extent that they are payments of excess to which Section 78 to 18 applies. Step 3. Multiply the Step 1 amount, or if Step 2 applies, the Step 2 amount, by the following. 11 divided by 11, extent of input tax credit, where extent of input tax credit has the meaning given by subsection 2. Word number 10. Share in a company means a share in the capital of the company, and includes stock. That was it for page number 211, friends. This was section 2 of this video. Now we will head to section 3. Now, we will explain words on page number 212 of Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. This is section 3 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. 11. Ship. 12. Ship stores. 13. Simplified accounting method. 14. Small business entity. 15. Small enterprise entity. 16. Small enterprise turnover threshold. 17. Special education course. 18. Special professional. 19. Stated monetary value. 20. State law. 21. Statutory compensation scheme. 22. Stratum unit. 23. Student accommodation. 24. Student assistance minister. Word number 11. Ship means any vessel used in navigation, other than air navigation. Next word. Word number 12. Ship stores has the meaning given by Section 130C of the Customs Act 1901. Section 130C of the Customs Act 1901 states, ship stores means stores for the use of the passengers or crew of a ship, or for the service of a ship. Next word. Word number 13. Simplified accounting method means an arrangement in respect of which a determination under Section 123-5 is in force. That is Section 123-5, Gst Act Volume 2, page number 9. Section 123-5 states, Commissioner may determine simplified accounting methods. 1. The Commissioner may determine in writing an arrangement, to be known as a simplified accounting method that a. specifies the kinds of retailers to whom it is available and provides a method for working out net amounts of retailers to whom the method applies, or b. specifies the kinds of small enterprise entities to whom it is available and provides a method for working out net amounts of small enterprise entities to whom the method applies. 2. The kinds of retailers specified under paragraph 1a must all be kinds of retailers that a. sell food or b. make supplies that are GST-free under subdivision 38G, non-commercial activities of charities etc., in the course or furtherance of carrying on their enterprise. 3. The kinds of small enterprise entities specified under paragraph 1b must all be kinds of small enterprise entities that, in the course or furtherance of carrying on their enterprises, a. make both I. taxable supplies, and 2. supplies that are GST-free, or b. make both I. creditable acquisitions, and 2. acquisitions that are not creditable acquisitions because the supplies made to the small enterprise entities to which the acquisitions relate are GST-free. Next word. Word number 14. Small business entity has the meaning given by subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997. Income Tax Assessment ACT 1997 Sec 328.110. Meaning of small business entity. General rule. Based on aggregated turnover worked out as at the beginning of the current income year. 1. You are a small business entity for an income year, the current year if A. You carry on a business in the current year, and B. One or both of the following applies. I. You carried on a business in the income year, the previous year, before the current year, and your aggregated turnover for the previous year was less than $10 million. 2. Your aggregated turnover for the current year is likely to be less than $10 million. Note 1. If you are a small business entity for an income year, you may apply to the Commissioner under Section 61C of the Excise Act 1901 for permission to deliver goods for home consumption, without entering them for that purpose, in respect of a calendar month. Note 2. If you are a small business entity for an income year, you may apply under Section 69 of the Customs Act 1901 for permission to deliver like customable goods or excise equivalent goods into home consumption, without entering them for that purpose, in respect of a calendar month. Note 3. The $10 million thresholds in this subsection and in subsections 3 and 4 have been increased to $50 million for certain concessions. For example, see subsection 328-285, 2. 2. You work out your aggregated turnover for the current year for the purposes of subparagraph 1b2. A. As at the first day of the current year, or B. If you start to carry on a business during the current year as at the day you start to carry on the business. Note, subsection 328-125 provides for how to work out your annual turnover, which is relevant to working out your aggregated turnover, if you do not carry on a business for the whole of an income year. Exception. Aggregated turnover for 2 previous income years was $10 million or more. 3. However, you are not a small business entity for an income year, the current year, because of subparagraph 1b2 if A. You carried on a business in each of the 2 income years before the current year, and B. Your aggregated turnover for each of those income years was $10 million or more. Note, Section 328(110) of the Income Tax, Transitional Provisions, Act 1997 affects the operation of this subsection in relation to the 2007 to 2008 and 2008 to 2009 income years. Additional rule, based on aggregated turnover worked out as at the end of the current income year. 4. You are also a small business entity for an income year, the current year if A. You carry on a business in the current year, and B. Your aggregated turnover for the current year, worked out as at the end of that year, is less than $10 million. Note, if you are a small business entity only because of subsection 4, you cannot choose any of the following concessions. A. Paying PAYG installments based on GDP-adjusted notional tax. See Section 45 to 130 in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. B. Accounting for GST on a cash basis. See Section 29 to 40 of the GST Act. C. Making an annual apportionment of input tax credits for acquisitions and importations that are partly creditable. See Section 131 to 5 of the GST Act. D. Paying GST by quarterly installments. See Section 162 to 5 of the GST Act. E. Applying for permission under the Excise Act 1901 to deliver goods for home consumption, without entering them for that purpose, in respect of a calendar month. See Section 61C of that Act. F. Applying for permission under the Customs Act 1901 to deliver like customable goods or excise equivalent goods for home consumption, without entering them for that purpose, in respect of a calendar month. See Section 69 of that Act. Winding up a business previously carried on. 5. This subdivision applies to you as if you carried on a business in an income year if A. In that year you were winding up a business you previously carried on, and B. You are a small business entity for the income year in which you stopped carrying on that business. Note 1. Subsection 328-125 provides for how to work out your annual turnover, which is relevant to working out your aggregated turnover, if you do not carry on a business for the whole of an income year. Note 2. A special rule applies if you were an STS taxpayer under this division, as in force immediately before the commencement of this section, in the income year in which you stop carrying on the business. See Section 328 to 111 of the Income Tax, Transitional Provisions, Act 1997. Partners in a partnership. 6. A person who is a partner in a partnership in an income year is not, in his or her capacity as a partner, a small business entity for the income year. Next word. Word number 15. Small enterprise entity has the meaning given by subsection 123-7(1). That is subsection 123-7(1) of Gst Act, Volume 2, page number 10. 123-7 states meaning of small enterprise entity. 1. An entity is a small enterprise entity at a particular time if a. The entity is a small business entity, other than because of subsection 328-110(4) of the ITAA 1997, for the income year in which the time occurs, or a. The entity is an entity covered by subsection 1a, for the income year in which the time occurs, or b. At that time, the entity does not carry on a business, and its GST turnover does not exceed the small enterprise turnover threshold. 1a. An entity is covered by this subsection for an income year if a. The entity is not a small business entity, other than because of subsection 328-110(4) of the ITAA 1997, for the income year, and b. The entity would be such a small business entity for the income year if I. Each reference in subdivision 328C about what is a small business entity of that act to $10 million were instead a reference to $50 million, and 2. The reference in paragraph 328-110(5)(b) of that act to a small business entity were instead a reference to an entity covered by this subsection. 2. The small enterprise turnover threshold is $2 million. Next word. Word number 16. Small enterprise turnover threshold has the meaning given by subsection 123-7(2). Subsection 123-7(2) states 2. The small enterprise turnover threshold is $2 million. Next word. Word number 17. Special education course means a course of education that provides special programs designed specifically for children with disabilities or students with disabilities, or both. Next word. Word number 18. Special professional has the meaning given by subsection 405-25(1) of the ITAA 1997. Income Tax Assessment ACT 1997 Sect 405.25. Meaning of special professional: performing artist, production associate, sportsperson and sporting competition. Special professional. 1. You are a special professional if you are a. The author of a literary, dramatic, musical or artistic work, or note, the expression, author, is a technical term from copyright law. In general, the author of a musical work is its composer and the author of an artistic work is the artist, sculptor or photographer who created it. B. The inventor of an invention, or C. A performing artist, or D. A production associate, or E. A sportsperson. Next word. Word number 19. Stated monetary value has the meanings given by subsections 100-5(2)(a) and 2(b). That is subsections 100-5(2)(a) and 2(b) of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 379. 100 to 5 states. Supplies of vouchers with a stated monetary value. 2a. The stated monetary value, in relation to a voucher other than a prepaid phone card or facility, means the monetary value stated on the voucher or in documents accompanying the voucher. 2b. The stated monetary value, in relation to a voucher that is a prepaid phone card or facility, means the sum of a. In any case, the monetary value stated on the voucher or in documents accompanying the voucher, and b. If the voucher is topped up after it is supplied, the monetary value of the top-up stated on the voucher or in documents accompanying the top-up. However, disregard the monetary value stated on the voucher, or in documents accompanying the voucher, or top-up, as the case requires, of any bonus supplies covered by the voucher or top-up, as the case requires. Next word. Word number 20. State law has the meaning given by Section 995 to 1 of the ITAA 1997. That is Section 995 to 1 of the ITAA 1997. State law means a law of a state. Next word. Word number 21. Statutory compensation scheme has the meaning given by Section 78 to 105. That is Section 78 to 105 of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 294. 78 to 105 states. Meaning of statutory compensation scheme. A statutory compensation scheme is a scheme or arrangement. A. That is established by an Australian law, and b. Under which compensation is payable for particular kinds of injury, loss or damage, and c. That is specified in the regulations, or that is of a kind specified in the regulations, but does not include a compulsory third-party scheme. Note, Divisions 7, 9, and 80 deal with compulsory third-party schemes. Next word. Word number 22. Stratum unit has the meaning given by subsection 124-193 of the ITAA 1997. Income Tax Assessment ACT 1997 Sect 124.190. Strata title conversion. 1. You can choose to obtain a rollover if a. You own property that gives you a right to occupy a unit in a building, and b. The building's owner subdivides it into stratum units, and c. The owner transfers to you the stratum unit that corresponds to the unit you had the right to occupy just before the subdivision. Note 1. The rollover consequences are set out in Section 124-10. The original asset is the property that gave you the right to occupy a unit in the building. The new asset is the stratum unit. Note 2. Section 103-25 tells you when you have to make the choice. 2. The first element of the cost base and reduced cost base of the stratum unit includes any amount you paid to get it, which can include giving property. See Section 103-5. Note, the rest of the first element is worked out under subdivision 124A. 3. A stratum unit is a lot or unit, however described in an Australian law or a foreign law relating to strata title or similar title, and any accompanying common property. Table of sections. 124 to 240 exchange of shares in the same company. 124 to 245 exchange of units in the same unit trust. Next word. Word number 23. Student accommodation has the meaning given by subsection 38-105(3). That is subsection 38-105(3) of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 122. 38 to 105 states. Accommodation at boarding schools, etc. 1. A supply is GST-free if a. Is a supply of student accommodation to students undertaking a primary course, A** secondary course or a special education course, and B. The supplier of the accommodation also supplies the course. 2. A supply is GST-free if A. It is a supply of student accommodation to students who are undertaking a primary course, a secondary course or a special education course, and B. The accommodation is provided in a hostel whose primary purpose is to provide accommodation for students from rural or remote locations who are undertaking such courses. 3. Student accommodation means the right to occupy the whole or part of the premises used to provide the accommodation, including, if it is provided as part of the right so to occupy, the supply of A. Cleaning and maintenance, or B. Electricity, gas, air conditioning or heating, or C. Telephone, television, radio or any other similar thing. 4. However, a supply is not GST-free under subsection 1 or 2 to the extent that it consists of the supply of food. Next word. Word number 24. Student Assistance Minister has the same meaning as in the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997. That was it for page number 212, friends. This was section 3 of this video. Now we will head to section 4. Now, we will explain words on page number 213 of Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. This is section 4 of this video, for dictionary. Please find words on screen. Word number 25. Subdivision 38p period. 26. Substantial renovations. 27. Superannuation fund. 28. Supplier taxed offshore supply of low-value goods. 29. Supply. 30. Supply of a going concern. 31. Supply of low-value goods. 32. Taxable at less than 1/11th of the price. 33. Taxable dealing. 34. Taxable importation. 35. Taxable importation of a luxury car. Word number 25. Subdivision 38p period, in relation to the supply of a car to an individual, means the period starting when he or she acquires it and ending at the earliest of the following times. A. The end of 2 years after the acquisition. B. The time when the car is no longer reasonably capable of being used for the purpose for which cars of that kind are ordinarily used. C. A time that the Commissioner considers to be appropriate in special circumstances. Next word. Word number 26. Substantial renovations of a building are renovations in which all, or substantially all, of a building is removed or replaced. However, the renovations need not involve removal or replacement of foundations, external walls, interior supporting walls, floors, roof or staircases. Next word. Word number 27. Superannuation fund has the meaning given by section 995 to 1 of the ITA 1997. Section 995 to 1 of the ITA 1997 states, superannuation fund, means A. A fund that I. Is an indefinitely continuing fund, and 2. Is a provident benefit, superannuation or retirement fund, or B. A public sector superannuation scheme. Next word. Word number 28. Supplier taxed offshore supply of low-value goods has the meaning given by section 84 to 85. That is section 84 to 85 of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 355. Section 84 to 85 states, exception, when there is also a taxable importation, 1, subsection 2, applies to an offshore supply of low-value goods you made to the extent that A. The supply is, apart from this section, a supplier taxed offshore supply of low-value goods, and B. An importation of the goods was a taxable importation. Note, This section applies if Section 42 to 15 has not applied to treat the importation as a non-taxable importation. 2. The supply is treated as if it were not a taxable supply if a. To the extent, if any, that you have passed on the GST on the supply to another entity, you reimburse the other entity for the passed on GST, and b. An entity provides to you a declaration or information that indicates that GST has been paid on the taxable importation. 3. A supply of goods is a supplier-taxed offshore supply of low-value goods if the supply is a. An offshore supply of low-value goods, and b. A taxable supply solely under Section 9 to 5, and c. Connected with the indirect tax zone solely because of this subdivision. Next word. Word number 29. Supply has the meaning given by Section 9 to 10. That is Section 9 to 10, Gst Act Volume 1, page number 12. Section 9 to 10 states: Meaning of supply. 1. A supply is any form of supply whatsoever. 2. Without limiting subsection 1, supply includes any of these: a. A supply of goods. b. A supply of services. c. A provision of advice or information. d. A grant, assignment or surrender of real property. e. A creation, grant, transfer, assignment or surrender of any right. f. A financial supply. g. An entry into, or release from, an obligation. I. To do anything, or 2. To refrain from an act, or 3. To tolerate an act or situation. h. Any combination of any two or more of the matters referred to in paragraphs A to G. 3. It does not matter whether it is lawful to do, to refrain from doing or to tolerate the act or situation constituting the supply. 3a. For the avoidance of doubt, the delivery of a. Livestock for slaughtering or processing into food, or b. Game for processing into food, under an arrangement under which the entity making the delivery only relinquishes title after food has been produced, is the supply of the livestock or game, regardless of when the entity relinquishes title. The supply does not take place on or after the subsequent relinquishment of title. 4. However, supply does not include a. A supply of money unless the money is provided as consideration for a supply that is a supply of money or digital currency, or b. A supply of digital currency unless the digital currency is provided as consideration for a supply that is a supply of digital currency or money. Next word. Word number 30. Supply of a going concern has the meaning given by subsection 38-325-2. That is subsection 38-325-2 of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 138. Subsection 38-325-2 states: Supply of a going concern. 1. The supply of a going concern is GST-free if a. The supply is for consideration, and b. The recipient is registered or required to be registered, and c. The supplier and the recipient have agreed in writing that the supply is of a going concern. 2. A supply of a going concern is a supply under an arrangement under which a. The supplier supplies to the recipient all of the things that are necessary for the continued operation of an enterprise, and b. The supplier carries on, or will carry on, the enterprise until the day of the supply, whether or not as a part of a larger enterprise carried on by the supplier. Word number 31. Supply of low-value goods has the meaning given by Section 84-79. That is Section 84-79 of Volume 1, Gst Act, page number 350. Section 84-79 states: Meaning of supply of low-value goods. 1. A supply of goods is a supply of low-value goods if a. The goods supplied are covered by subsection 3, or B. The goods supplied include goods covered by subsection 3. 2. However, if the goods supplied include goods that are not covered by subsection 3, then the supply of goods, the actual supply, is to be treated as if it were two separate supplies in the following way. A. The part of the actual supply consisting of goods covered by subsection 3 is to be treated as if it were a separate supply, that is, a supply of low-value goods, regardless of the total customs value of the goods to which those supplies relate. And B. The remainder of the actual supply is to be treated as if it were a separate supply that is not a supply of low-value goods. Low-value goods. 3. This subsection covers goods if A. The customs value of the goods is $1,000 or less, and B. The goods are not tobacco, tobacco products, or alcoholic beverages. 4. Work out the customs value of goods for the purposes of this section at the time when the consideration for the supply was first agreed, and as if A. The goods were exported from the country from which they were brought to the indirect tax zone, and B. The goods were imported into Australia, and C. The agreement for the supply was an agreement for the importation and for the exportation, and D. To the extent that working out the value involves an assumption about the way in which the collector, within the meaning of the Customs Act 1901, will exercise a discretion, the collector exercise that discretion in a reasonable manner in accordance with law, and E. If an amount to be taken into account in working out that value is not an amount in Australian currency, the amount so taken into account is the equivalent in Australian currency of that amount, ascertained in any of the following ways. I. In the way provided in Section 161J of the Customs Act 1901. 2. In the manner determined by the Commissioner under subsection 5 of this section. 5. The Commissioner may, by legislative instrument, determine a manner of ascertaining an amount in Australian currency for the purposes of paragraph 4e. 6. Disregards section 84 to 81 in applying this section. Next word. Word number 32. Taxable at less than 1/11th of the price has the meaning given by subsection 136-50(1). That is subsection 136-50(1), Volume 2 of Gst Act, page number 60. Subsection 136-50(1) states, meanings of taxable at less than 1/11th of the price and creditable at less than 1/11th of the consideration. 1. A taxable supply is taxable at less than 1/11th of the price if the amount of GST payable on the supply is an amount that is less than 1/11th of the price of the supply. Next word. Word number 33. Taxable dealing, in relation to wine, has the meaning given by Section 33(1) of the Wine Tax Act. Section 33(1) of the Wine Tax Act states, taxable dealing means an assessable dealing that happens on or after July 1, 2000 for which no exemption is available under Division 7. Next word. Word number 34. Taxable importation has the meaning given by subsections 13-5(1) and 114-5(1). That is subsections 13-5(1) and 114-5(1) of Gst Act Volume 1, page numbers 38 and page number 1, Volume 2. Section 13-5(1) states, what are taxable importations? 1. You make a taxable importation if A. Goods are imported, and B. You enter the goods for home consumption, within the meaning of the Customs Act 1901. However, the importation is not a taxable importation to the extent that it is a non-taxable importation. Note, there is no registration requirement for taxable importations, and the importer need not be carrying on an enterprise. 114-5(1) states, importations without entry for home consumption. 1. You make a taxable importation if A. The circumstances referred to in the third column of the following table occur, and B. You are referred to in the fourth column of the table as the importer in relation to those circumstances. However, there is not a taxable importation to the extent that the importation to which the circumstances relate is a non-taxable importation. Next word. Word number 35. Taxable importation of a luxury car has the meaning given by Section 27 to 1 of the A New Tax System, Luxury Car Tax, Act 1999. Section 27 to 1 of the A New Tax System, Luxury Car Tax, Act 1999 states, head to Section 7 to 10. A New Tax System, Luxury Car Tax, Act 1999 Sec 7.10. Taxable importations of luxury cars. 1. You make a taxable importation of a luxury car if A. The luxury car is imported, and B. You enter the car for home consumption. Note: there is no registration requirement for taxable importations, and the importer need not be carrying on an enterprise. 2. The importation of the car includes any car parts, accessories or attachments that you import at the same time as the car and that could reasonably be expected to be fitted to the car. 3. However, you do not make a taxable importation of a luxury car if A. You quote for the importation of the car, or B. Luxury car tax has already become payable in respect of the car, or B. You are registered at the time of the importation and the car I is covered by Item 7 in Schedule 4 to the Customs Tariff, and 2 is imported by the library, museum, gallery or institution to which it is consigned, and 3 is imported for the sole purpose of public display, or C. The car is covered by Item 10, 11, 15, 18, 21 or 24 in Schedule 4 to the Customs Tariff, or D. The importation of the car is a non-taxable reimportation. 4. To avoid doubt, a reference to a car that is covered by an item in Schedule 4 to the Customs Tariff includes a reference to a car to which that item would apply apart from the operation of subsection 18(1) of the Customs Tariff Act 1995. That was it for page number 213, friends. This was section 4 of this video. Now we will head to Section 5. Now, we will explain words on page number 214 of Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. This is Section 5 of this video, for Dictionary. Please find words on screen. 36. Taxable supply. 37. Taxation law. 38. Tax invoice. 39. Taxi travel. 40. Tax loss. 41. Tax period. 42. Tax period turnover threshold. 43. Tax-related liability. 44. Telecommunications supply. Word number 36. Next word. Taxable supply has the meaning given by sections 9 to 5, 78 to 50, 84 to 5 and 105 to 5. Note: this meaning is also affected by sections 49 to 30, 66 to 45, 72 to 5, 78 to 25, 78 to 60, 78 to 65, 78 to 70, 79 to 60, 79 to 85, 80 to 10, 80 to 50, 84 to 85, 90 to 5, 100 to 5, 100 to 18, 110 to 5, 110 to 15, 110 to 20, 110 to 25, 110 to 30, 113 to 5 and 142 to 10. That is sections 9 to 5, 78 to 50, 84 to 5 and 105 to 5 of Gst Act Volume 1, page numbers 12, 287, 337 and 384. 9 to 5 states: Taxable supplies. You make a taxable supply if A. You make the supply for consideration, and B. The supply is made in the course or furtherance of an enterprise that you carry on, and C. The supply is connected with the indirect tax zone, and D. You are registered or required to be registered. However, the supply is not a taxable supply to the extent that it is GST-free or input taxed. 78 to 50 states. Settlements of insurance claims give rise to taxable supplies if entitlement to input tax credits is not disclosed. 1. However, the payment or supply is treated as consideration for a supply made by an entity if A. The entity paid all or a part of the premium for the insurance policy relating to the period during which the event giving rise to the claim happened, and B. The entity or the representative member of the GST group of which the entity is a member was entitled to an input tax credit for the premium it paid, and C. The entity I did not, at or before the time a claim was first made under the insurance policy since the last payment of a premium, inform the insurer of the entitlement to an input tax credit for the premium it paid, or 2. In informing the insurer of the entitlement at or before that time, understated its extent, and B. The insurance policy was not issued under a compulsory third-party scheme. It does not matter whether that entity is the entity insured, or whether the payment or supply is made to that entity or any other entity. 2. The extent to which the payment or supply is treated as consideration is the extent of the entitlement, or the extent to which the entitlement was understated, as the case requires. 2a. In working out, for the purposes of subparagraph 1c2 or subsection 2, whether an entitlement to an input tax credit has been understated, or the extent of the understatement, disregard sections 131 to 40 and 131 to 50, which are about amounts of input tax credits under the annual apportionment rules. 3. The supply made by the entity is a taxable supply whether or not the entity is registered, or required to be registered, at the time of the settlement, or at the time of the payment, or supplied by the insurer. Note: Subdivision 78D deals with how GST applies to the taxable supply if the insured entity is not registered or required to be registered. 4. This section has effect despite Section 9 to 5, which is about what are taxable supplies, and Section 9 to 17, which is about consideration. 84 to 5 states. Offshore supplies that are taxable supplies under this subdivision. 1. A supply is a taxable supply, except to the extent that it is GST-free or input taxed if A. The supply is for consideration, and B. The recipient of the supply is registered, or required to be registered, and C. The supply is covered by the third column of this table. Offshore supplies that are taxable supplies under this subdivision. 1. Intangible supply. General. A supply of anything other than goods or real property if A. The supply is not connected with the indirect tax zone, and B. The recipient of the supply satisfies the purpose test in subsection 1a. 2. Intangible supply. Right or option. A supply of anything other than goods or real property if A. The supply is connected with the indirect tax zone because of paragraph 9-25(5)(c), and B. The recipient of the supply satisfies the purpose test in subsection 1a. 3. Intangible supply. Supplier believed recipient was not a consumer. A supply of anything other than goods or real property if A. The supply is connected with the indirect tax zone because of paragraph 9-25(5)(d), and B. Under section 84 to 100, the GST law applies in relation to the supplier as if the recipient was not an Australian consumer of the supply, and c. the ABN of the recipient, or the other identifying information prescribed under subsection 84-100, relating to the recipient, has been disclosed to the supplier, and d. the recipient has provided to the supplier a declaration or information that indicates that the recipient is registered. For low-value goods, general. An offshore supply of low-value goods if a. the supply is not connected with the indirect tax zone, and b. the recipient of the supply satisfies the purpose test in subsection 1a, and c. the importation of the goods is not a taxable importation on which the recipient is liable to pay GST. 5. Low-value goods. Supplier believed recipient was not a consumer. An offshore supply of low-value goods if a. the supply is connected with the indirect tax zone solely because of subdivision 84C, and b. under section 84 to 105, the GST law applies in relation to the supplier as if the recipient was not a consumer of the supply, and c. the importation of the goods is not a taxable importation on which the recipient is liable to pay GST. 1a. The purpose test referred to in items 1, 2 and 4 of the table in subsection 1 is that a. the recipient of the supply acquires the things supplied solely or partly for the purpose of an enterprise that the recipient carries on in the indirect tax zone, and b. the recipient does not acquire the things supplied solely for a creditable purpose. 1b. However, items 3 and 5 of the table in subsection 1 only cover a supply to the extent that it is connected with the indirect tax zone solely because of a. for item 3, paragraph 9-25, 5d, or b. for item 5, subdivision 84c. 2. For the purposes of this section, in determining whether the recipient is required to be registered, what would be the value of such supplies, if they were taxable supplies, is to be counted towards the recipient's GST turnover. 3. This section has effect despite section 9-5, which is about what is a taxable supply. 105-5 states, supplies by creditors in satisfaction of debts may be taxable supplies. 1. You make a taxable supply if a. you supply the property of another entity, the debtor, to a third entity in or towards the satisfaction of a debt that the debtor owes to you, and b. had the debtor made the supply would have been a taxable supply. 2. It does not matter whether a. you made the supply in the course or furtherance of an enterprise that you carry on, or b. you are registered, or required to be registered. 3. However, the supply is not a taxable supply if a. the debtor has given you a written notice stating that the supply would not be a taxable supply if the debtor were to make it, and stating fully the reasons why the supply would not be a taxable supply, or b. if you cannot obtain such a notice, you believe on the basis of reasonable information that the supply would not be a taxable supply if the debtor were to make it. 4. This section has effect despite section 9-5, which is about what is a taxable supply. Word number 37. Next word. Taxation law has the meaning given by Section 2 of the Taxation Administration Act 1953. Section 2 of the Taxation Administration Act 1953 states, taxation law has the meaning given by the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997. Note, see also subsection 2. Word number 38. Next word. Tax invoice has the meaning given by subsections 29-70(1) and 48-57(1), and includes a document that the Commissioner treats as a tax invoice under subsection 29-70(1)(b). However, it does not include a document that does not comply with the requirements of section 54-50, if applicable. Word number 39. Next word. Taxi travel means travel that involves transporting passengers, by taxi or limousine for fares. Next word. Word number 40. Tax loss has the meaning given by subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997. Subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997 states, tax loss means a tax loss worked out under section 36 to 10, 165 to 70, 175-35 or 701 to 30 of this Act, including such a tax loss as increased under section 415 to 15 or reduced under section 41895, or Note 1. The meaning of tax loss in section 36 to 10 is affected by section 268 to 60 in Schedule 2F to the Income Tax Assessment Act 1936. Note 2. The meaning of tax loss in sections 36 to 10, 165 to 70, 175-35 and 701 to 30 is modified by section 3655 for a corporate tax entity that has an amount of excess franking offsets. Note 3. A life insurance company can have a tax loss of the complying superannuation class and/or a tax loss of the ordinary class for the purposes of working out its income tax for an income year. See subdivision 320D. B. A tax loss as defined by section 36-105, tax losses for 1989 to 90 to 1996 to 97 income years of the Income Tax Transitional Provisions, Act 1997, or C. A tax loss as defined by Section 36-110, tax losses for 1957 to 58 to 1988 to 89 income years of the Income Tax Transitional Provisions, Act 1997, or D. A tax loss determined under Section 24 of the International Tax Agreements Act 1953, about relief from double taxation where profits are adjusted, including such a tax loss as increased under Section 415 to 15 of this Act. Next word. Word number 41. Tax period means a tax period applying to you under A. Division 27, about quarterly and 1-month tax periods, or B. Section 48 to 73, about GST groups with incapacitated entities, or C. Section 57 to 35, about resident agents, or D. Section 58 to 35, about representatives of incapacitated entities, or E. Section 151 to 40, about annual tax periods, or F. Section 162 to 55, about installment tax periods. Next word. Word number 42. Tax period turnover threshold has the meaning given by subsection 27-15(3). That is subsection 27-15(3) of Gst Act Volume 1, page number 71. Subsection 27-15(3) states, determination of 1-month tax periods. 1. The Commissioner must determine that the tax periods that apply to you are each individual month if A. The Commissioner is satisfied that your GST turnover meets the tax period turnover threshold, or B. The Commissioner is satisfied that the period for which you will be carrying on an enterprise in the indirect tax zone is less than 3 months, or C. The Commissioner is satisfied that you have a history of failing to comply with your obligations under a taxation law. Note: determining under this section the tax periods applying to you is a reviewable GST decision. See subdivision 110F in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. 2. The determination takes effect on the day specified in the determination. However, the days specified must be January 1st, April 1st, July 1st, or October 1st. Note: Deciding the date of effect of the determination is a reviewable GST decision. See Subdivision 110F in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. 3. The tax period turnover threshold is A. $20 million, or B. Such other amount as the regulations specify. However, if the regulations change the tax period turnover threshold, the change does not apply to you until the start of the next tax period that starts after the regulation in question comes into operation. Next word. Word number 43. Tax-related liability has the meaning given by Section 255(1) in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953. 255(1) states meaning of tax-related liability. 1. A tax-related liability is a pecuniary liability to the Commonwealth arising directly under a taxation law, including a liability the amount of which is not yet due and payable. Note 1. See Section 250(10) for an index of tax-related liabilities. Note 2. A taxation law, or a provision of it, may be excluded from being applied to this part. See Section 265-65. 2. A civil penalty under Division 290 of this schedule or Part 5 of the Tax Agent Services Act 2009 is not a tax-related liability. Next word. Word number 44. Telecommunication supply has the meaning given by Section 85-10. That is Section 85-10 of Volume 1 of GST Act. Page number 360. Section 85-10 states: Meaning of telecommunication supply. A telecommunication supply is a supply relating to the transmission, emission or reception of signals, writing, images, sounds or information of any kind by wire, radio, optical or other electromagnetic systems. It includes A. The related transfer or assignment of the right to use capacity for such transmission, emission or reception, and B. Provision of access to global information networks. That was it for page number 214. Now we head to Section 6. Now, we will explain words on page number 215 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. This is Section 6 of this video, for Dictionary. Please find words on screen. 45. Territory Law. 46. Tertiary Course. 47. Tertiary Residential College Course. 48. Thing. 49. Third-party adjustment note. 50. Total subdivision 66B credit amount. 51. Total subdivision 66B GST amount. 52. Tradex order. 53. Tradex scheme goods. 54. Transportation document. Word number 45. Next word. Territory law has the meaning given by Section 995(1) of the ITAA 1997. Section 995(1) of the ITAA 1997 states, Territory law means the law of a territory. Word number 46. Next word. Tertiary course means A. A course of study or instruction that is a tertiary course determined by the Student Assistance Minister under subsection 5D(1) of the Student Assistance Act 1973 for the purposes of that act. Or A. A course of study or instruction accredited at master's or doctoral level and supplied by a higher education institution or a non-government higher education institution. Or B. Any other course of study or instruction that the Student Assistance Minister has determined is a tertiary course for the purposes of this Act. Word number 47. Next word. Tertiary residential college course means a course supplied in connection with a tertiary course at premises that are used to provide accommodation to students undertaking tertiary courses. Word number 48. Next word. Thing means anything that can be supplied or imported. Word number 49. Next word. Third-party adjustment note means a document that complies with the requirements of Section 134 to 20, and if applicable, Section 54 to 50. That is Section 134 to 20 of Volume 2 and Section 54 to 50 of Gst Act, pages 49 and 203. 134 to 20 states. Third-party adjustment notes. 1. A third-party adjustment note for a decreasing adjustment that you have under Section 134 to 5 is a document A. that is created by you, and B. a copy of which is given, in the circumstances set out in subsection 2, to the entity that received the payment that gave rise to the adjustment, and C. that sets out your ABN, and D. that contains such other information as the Commissioner determines in writing, and E. that is in the approved form. However, the Commissioner may treat as a third-party adjustment note a particular document that is not a third-party adjustment note. 2. You must give the copy of the document to the entity that received the payment. A. within 28 days after the entity requests you to give the copy, or B. if you become aware of the adjustment before the copy is requested, within 28 days, or such other number of days as the Commissioner determines under subsection 4 or 6, after becoming aware of the adjustment. 3. Subsection 2 does not apply to an adjustment of an amount that does not exceed the amount provided for under subsection 29-80. 2. 4. The Commissioner may determine in writing that paragraph 2b has effect in relation to a particular document, as if the number of days referred to in that paragraph is the number of days specified in the determination. 5. A determination made under subsection 4 is not a legislative instrument. 6. The Commissioner may determine, by legislative instrument, circumstances in which paragraph 2b has effect in relation to those circumstances, as if the number of days referred to in that paragraph is the number of days specified in the determination. 7. A determination made under subsection 4 has effect despite any determination made under subsection 6. 54 to 50 states. Tax invoices and adjustment notes. 1. The GST branch registration number of a GST branch must be set out in A. Any tax invoice relating to a taxable supply made through that GST branch, and B. Any adjustment note for a decreasing adjustment that arose from the occurrence of an adjustment event relating to a taxable supply made through that GST branch, and C. Any third-party adjustment note for a decreasing adjustment under Section 134 to 5 that relates to a taxable supply made through that GST branch. 2. This section has effect despite Sections 29 to 70 and 29 to 75, which are about tax invoices and adjustment notes, and Section 134 to 20, which is about third-party adjustment notes. Word number 50. Next word. Total subdivision 66B credit amount has the meaning given by subsection 66-65(1). That is subsection 66-65(1), Volume 1 Gst Act, page number 234. 66 to 5 states. Creditable acquisitions of second-hand goods. 1. If you acquire second-hand goods for the purposes of sale or exchange, but not for manufacture, in the ordinary course of business, the fact that the supply of the goods to you is not a taxable supply does not stop the acquisition being a creditable acquisition. Next word. Word number 51. Total subdivision 66B GST amount has the meaning given by subsection 66-65(2). That is subsection 66-65(2) of Volume 1 GST Act, page number 234. Subsection 66-65(2) states, however, this section does not apply, and is taken never to have applied, to the acquisition if a. The supply of the goods to you was a taxable supply, or was GST-free, or b. You imported the goods, or c. The supply of the goods to you was a supply by way of hire, or d. Subdivision 66B applies to the acquisition, or e. You make a supply of the goods that is not a taxable supply. 3. This section has effect despite section 11-5, which is about what is a creditable acquisition. Next word. Word number 52. Tradex order has the meaning given by subsection 141-10(2). That is subsection 141-10(2), Volume 2, GST Act, page number 69. 141-10 states, meaning of Tradex scheme goods etc. 2. Tradex order has the meaning given by Section 4 of the Tradex Scheme Act 1999. Next word. Word number 53. Tradex scheme goods has the meaning given by subsection 141-10(1). That is subsection 141-10(1), Volume 2, GST Act, page number 69. Subsection 141-10(1) states, meaning of Tradex scheme goods etc. 1. Tradex scheme goods are imported goods that a. are nominated goods, within the meaning of the Tradex Scheme Act 1999, in relation to a Tradex order, and b. were covered by Item 21A in Schedule 4 to the Customs Tariff Act 1995 at the time of their entry for home consumption under the Customs Act 1901. Next word. Word number 54. Transportation document includes the following. A. A consignment note. B. A house bill of lading. C. An ocean bill of lading. D. A house air waybill. E. A master air waybill. F. A sea waybill. G. A straight line air waybill. H. A submaster air waybill. I. Other similar documents. Next word. That was it for page number 215, friends. This was section 6 of this video. Now we will head to section 7. Now, we will explain words on page number 216 of Division 195 of GST Act Volume 2. Please find words on screen. 55. TSA contributing member. 56. Turnover threshold. 57. Unit trust. 58. Untaxable Commonwealth entity. 59. Valid meal entertainment register. 60. Valuable metal. 61. Valuable metal threshold. 62. Value. Word number 55. TSA contributing member of a consolidated group or a MEC group has the meaning given by paragraph 721-25, 1a, of the ITAA 1997. Paragraph 721-25, 1a, of the ITAA 1997 states, Income Tax Assessment ACT 1997 Sec 721.25. When a group liability is covered by a tax-sharing agreement. 1. For the purposes of this division, a group liability is covered by a tax-sharing agreement if, just before the head company's due time, a. An agreement existed between the head company of the group and one or more of the contributing members, the TSA contributing members, and next word. Word number 56. turnover threshold has the meaning given by subsection 188-10(3). That is subsection 188-10(3), Volume 2 of GST Act, page number 160. Subsection 188-10(3) states, whether your GST turnover meets, or does not exceed, a turnover threshold. 3. Each of these is a turnover threshold. AAA, the annual apportionment turnover threshold. AA, the cash accounting turnover threshold. A, the electronic lodgement turnover threshold. AB, the installment turnover threshold. B, the registration turnover threshold. BA, the small enterprise turnover threshold. C, the tax period turnover threshold. Next word. Word number 57. Next word. Unit trust has the meaning given by subsection 202A(1) of the ITAA 1936. Subsection 202A(1) of the ITAA 1936 states, unit trust means a trust to which a unit trust scheme relates, and includes A cash management trust, B, a property trust, C, an arrangement declared by the minister under section 202AB to be a unit trust for the purposes of this definition. Word number 58. Untaxable Commonwealth entity has the meaning given by section 177(1). That is section 177(1), volume 2, page 147. Section 177(1) states, Commonwealth etc. not liable to pay GST. 1. The Commonwealth and untaxable Commonwealth entities are not liable to pay GST payable under this Act. However, it is the Parliament's intention that the Commonwealth and untaxable Commonwealth entities should A. Be notionally liable to pay GST payable under this Act, and B. Be notionally entitled to input tax credits arising under this Act, and C. Notionally have adjustments arising under this Act. Word number 59. Next word. Valid meal entertainment register means a valid meal entertainment register within the meaning of Section 37CA of the Fringe Benefits Tax Assessment, Act 1986. Fringe Benefits Tax Assessment ACT 1986 Sec 37CA states, election by employer. An employer who elects that this division applies may elect also that this subdivision applies to meal entertainment provided by the employer for an FBT year if the employer has a valid meal entertainment register for that year. Next page. Word number 60. Valuable metal means A. Gold, silver or platinum, or B. Any other substance specified for the purposes of paragraph D of the definition of precious metal in this section. Next word. Word number 61. Valuable metal threshold has the meaning given by section 86-10. That is section 86-10 volume 1 of GST Act, page number 363. Section 86-10 states, the valuable metal threshold. 1. The market value of goods consisting wholly or partly of valuable metal exceeds the valuable metal threshold at a time if, at that time, A. Unless paragraph B applies, the market value of the goods exceeds the market value of the valuable metal in the goods by at least the specified percentage, see subsection 4, or B. If the goods consist of goods, separate goods, each of which I. Consist wholly or partly of valuable metal, and 2. Can be separately supplied. The market value of each of the separate goods exceeds the market value of the valuable metal in those particular separate goods by at least the specified percentage. Market value of goods and valuable metal. 2. For the purposes of subsection 1, the market value of goods or valuable metal in goods A. is to be worked out disregarding any amount of GST. I. That is payable on the supply of the goods or metal. Or 2. If there is no supply of valuable metal, that would be payable if there were a supply of valuable metal. And C. Either I. Unless subparagraph 2 applies, is the market value of the goods or metal within the ordinary meaning of the expression. Or 2. If the Commissioner has determined under subsection 3 one or more methods for working out the market value of goods or metal, the market value of the goods or metal worked out using any one of those methods. 3. The Commissioner may, by legislative instrument, determine one or more methods of working out the market value of goods or valuable metal for the purposes of subparagraph 2b2. Specified percentage. 4. For the purposes of subsection 1, the specified percentage is A. If the Minister determines a percentage under subsection 5, that percentage, or B. Otherwise, 10%. 5. The Minister may, by legislative instrument, determine a percentage for the purposes of paragraph 4a. Effect of section 6. To avoid doubt, this section does not affect how goods that consist of goods that can be separately supplied are otherwise treated for the purposes of this Act. Next word. Word number 62. Value. A. Value of a taxable importation has the meaning given by sections 13 to 20, 13 to 25, 117 to 5 and 117 to 10, and B. Value of a taxable supply has the meaning given by sections 9 to 75, 9 to 80, 72 to 10, 72 to 70, 78 to 5, 78 to 60, 78 to 95, 79 to 40, 79 to 85, 87 to 10, 90 to 10, 96 to 10 and 108 to 5. D. Value of a supply includes the meaning given by section 188 to 35. Note: section 188 to 30 contains a means of working out, for the purposes of division 188, the value of a supply that is not a taxable supply, and section 188 to 32 contains a means of working out, for those purposes, the value of gambling supplies. Next word. That was it for page 216 of Dictionary. Now we will head to section 8. Now, we will explain words on page number 217 of Division 195 of Gst Act Volume 2. Please find words on screen. 63. Varied installment amount. 64. Voucher. 65. Wine. 66. Wine tax. 67. Wine Tax Act. 68. Wine tax law. 69. Withholding payment. 70. Withholding payment. 71. Word number 63. Next word. Varied installment amount has the meaning given by subsection 162-140, and paragraph 162-145a. That is subsection 162-141 and paragraph 162-145a of volume 2 page number 122. Subsection 162-141 states: Varied installment amounts. 1. You may, by notifying the Commissioner in the approved form, substitute another amount for A. Your notified installment amount for a GST installment quarter, or B. If paragraph 162-133b applies to a GST installment quarter, your GST installment for the preceding GST installment quarter. The amount substituted is your varied installment amount for the GST installment quarter. And paragraph 162-145a states: However, if paragraph 162-133b applies to a GST installment quarter but you do not, under subsection 1 of this section, substitute another amount by notifying the Commissioner in the approved form. A. Your varied installment amount for the GST installment quarter is 25% of your estimated annual GST amount relating to the preceding GST installment quarter. And word number 64. Next word. Voucher has the meaning given by subsection 100-25(1). That is subsection 100-25(1), Volume 1 GST Act page number 382. 100 to 25 states. Meaning of voucher, etc. 1. A voucher is any A. Voucher, token, stamp, coupon or similar article, or B. Prepaid phone card or facility, the redemption of which in accordance with its terms entitles the holder to receive supplies in accordance with its terms. However, a postage stamp is not a voucher. 2. A prepaid phone card or facility is any article or facility supplied for the primary purpose of enabling the holder A. To use, on a prepaid basis, telephone or like services supplied by a supplier of telecommunications supplies, or B. To make, on a prepaid basis, acquisitions that are facilitated by using telephone or like services supplied by such a supplier. Word number 65. Next word. Wine has the meaning given by subdivision 31A of the Wine Tax Act. A new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax, ACT 1999 Sec 31.1 states. Meaning of wine. 1. Wine means any of these. A. Grape wine. B. Grape wine products. C. Fruit or vegetable wine. D. Cider or perry. E. Mead. F. Sake. 2. However, wine does not include beverages that do not contain more than 1.15% by volume of ethyl alcohol. Word number 66. Next word. Wine tax has the meaning given by Section 33(1) of the Wine Tax Act. Wine tax law means A. This act, and B. Any act that imposes wine tax, and C. The new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax and Luxury Car Tax Transition, Act 1999 so far as it relates to the acts covered by paragraphs A and B, and D. The Taxation Administration Act 1953, so far as it relates to any act covered by paragraphs A to C, and E. Any other act, so far as it relates to any act covered by paragraphs A to D, or to so much of that act as is covered, and F. Regulations under an act, so far as they relate to any act covered by paragraphs A to E, or to so much of that act as is covered. Wine tax means tax that is payable under the wine tax law and imposed as wine equalization tax by any of these. A. The new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax Imposition General, Act 1999, or B. The new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax Imposition Customs, Act 1999, or C. The new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax Imposition Excise, Act 1999. Next word. Word number 67. Wine Tax Act means the new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax, Act 1999. Next word. Word number 68. Wine tax law has the meaning given in Section 33(1) of the Wine Tax Act. Wine tax law means A. This act, and B. Any act that imposes wine tax, and C. The new tax system, Wine Equalization Tax and Luxury Car Tax Transition, Act 1999 so far as it relates to the acts covered by paragraphs A and B, and D. The Taxation Administration Act 1953, so far as it relates to any act covered by paragraphs A to C, and E. Any other act, so far as it relates to any act covered by paragraphs A, 2, D, or to so much of that act as is covered. And F. Regulations under an act, so far as they relate to any act covered by paragraphs A, 2, E, or to so much of that act as is covered. Next word. Word number 69. Withholding payment covered by a particular provision in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953 has the meaning given by subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997. Subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997 states, withholding payment covered by a particular provision in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953 means a withholding payment consisting of a payment from which an amount must be withheld under that provision, even if the amount is not withheld, or a payment that arises because of the operation of Section 12A-205 in that schedule, deemed payments, in respect of which that provision requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner, or b. a non-cash benefit provided by an entity if that provision would have required the entity to withhold an amount if, instead of providing the benefit, the entity had paid the market value of the benefit, or c. a non-cash benefit provided to an entity if that provision would have required the entity to withhold an amount if the benefit had been a payment of an amount equal to the market value of the benefit, or d. the capital proceeds in respect of which subdivision 14D in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner, or e. the taxable supply in respect of which subdivision 14E in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner. Next word. Word number 70. Withholding payment has the meaning given by subsection 995-1 of the ITAA 1997. Withholding payment means a payment from which an amount must be withheld under Division 12 in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953, even if the amount is not withheld, or a payment that arises because of the operation of Section 12A-205 in that schedule, deemed payments, in respect of which subdivision 12AC in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner, or b. an alienated personal services payment in respect of which Division 13 in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner, or c. a non-cash benefit, the capital proceeds or a taxable supply, in respect of which Division 14 in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner. Note 1. A withholding payment that consists of a non-cash benefit is made when the benefit is provided. The amount of the withholding payment is taken to be the market value of the benefit at that time. Note 2. Divisions 12, 13 and 14 in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953 deal with collecting amounts on account of income tax payable by the recipient of the payment, alienated personal services payment, non-cash benefit or capital proceeds. Withholding payment, covered by a particular provision in Schedule 1 to the Taxation Administration Act 1953 means a withholding payment consisting of a payment from which an amount must be withheld under that provision, even if the amount is not withheld, or a payment that arises because of the operation of Section 12A-205 in that schedule, deemed payments, in respect of which that provision requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner, or b. a non-cash benefit provided by an entity if that provision would have required the entity to withhold an amount if, instead of providing the benefit, the entity had paid the market value of the benefit, or c. a non-cash benefit provided to an entity if that provision would have required the entity to withhold an amount if the benefit had been a payment of an amount equal to the market value of the benefit, or D. The capital proceeds in respect of which subdivision 14D in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner. Or E. The taxable supply in respect of which subdivision 14E in that schedule requires an amount to be paid to the Commissioner. Next word. Word number 71. U. If a provision of this Act uses the expression U, it applies to entities generally, unless its application is expressly limited. Note, the expression U is not used in provisions that apply only to entities that are not individuals. That was it for page number 217 of Volume 2 Gst Act. Now we will head to question and answer activity. That was it for this video, friends. This is a question and answer activity for you. Answering these questions will improve your understanding of this Act. You can use this video or Gst Act Volume 2 from pages 210 to 217 to answer these questions. There is a link in description box below. For a free digital copy of question sheet, please feel free to contact us. Question 1. What is school? 2. What is secondary course? 3. What is second-hand goods? 4. What is service department? 5. What is special professional? 6. What is student accommodation? 7. What is substantial renovations? 8. What is superannuation fund? 9. What is taxable supply? 10. What is tax invoice? 11. What is tax period? 12. What is tertiary course? 13. What is transportation document? 14. What is unit trust? 15. What is wine tax law? That was it for this video. If you have any questions in relation to this section, please don't hesitate to contact us. Please check out whole playlist about GST on our channel. Thanks for watching. To support us, subscribe to our channel.